received a report that you haven't reached Bravo Team yet. You need to pick up the pace. Reaching the communication very quickly is imperative.
And on that note, welcome to the Doom 3 commentary with me, Skully the Metalhead. Oh, I should say welcome back to the Doom 3 commentary, but it's been a while since we've done one of these. Well, it's been a fair long while since I did the Matrix Path Neo commentary, actually, which is probably being uploaded with its final part. But then again, I'll probably be releasing the Doom 3 commentary a lot later than the Matrix Path Neo commentary because, well, you know, it's still ongoing at this point, and I recorded all those parts a long time ago, whereas I'm just reviewing this around about the point after I just uploaded the Assassin's Creed review. Which, man, I had to rush the shit out of that one. But honestly, it was worth it, man. I really liked how it turned out. But anyway, on to more prevalent topics. Doom 3. This time we are entering the Alpha Lab scenario, I should say, setting, and yeah, this hosts probably one of my favourite scares. It's not going to be until Sector 4, of course, but of course, it is one of my favourite scares in this game. Anyway, as for what we're doing right now, we are hunting down Bravo Team, well, as we said previously, and, yeah. Okay, since we're not going to be able... Actually, no, there is an explanation for what this giant laser beam is, which I'll leave to the audio log to explain. But for the time being, yeah, we're pretty much just shooting up some more imps. Very much just the status quo, really. The quo. Excuse me. Take this. Oh, fuck. Something is going on here. Ooh. You see, it's little moments like this that I love about Doom 3. Like, I mean, you know, for as much as people will criticize, like, all the monster ambushes and how they can how a lot of people think they can become predictable after a while, personally, I think that a lot of the, you know, more weirder scares, like the red vision that you just saw earlier, I think that works a lot more effectively because, again, it catches you off guard and you don't know what the hell's gonna happen or what's going on. But we're going to be listening to an audio log, so I will shut up for the time being.
Audio log for Kyle Berger.
Berger.
Research supervisor for the EPD project. The elemental phase deconstructor is fully operational, and the research data we have gathered so far is very impressive. Unfortunately, we had a terrible accident last week. Research assistant Patterson was calibrating one of the quark emitters in the chamber, and witnesses say he appeared to see something. It's almost like something was talking to him, and he backed right into the particle beam. It was not a pretty sight, as it took off the backside of his head. He lived a few minutes, although I'm not sure you can consider that living, but they say his eyes rolled back and forth, and he was trying to talk, although after losing that much brain matter, I'm sure it was his reflex actions. Anyway, due to this, I have enacted new safety protocols in the lab, and we have stocked one of the storage cabinets with emergency medical supplies. The code for the cabinet is 752.
So, yeah, the guy heard a demon talking to him, and, well, he backed up into a laser, got a chunk of his brain cut out, and, yeah, a bit of a morbid accident, but hey, at least now we know the code. Not that I think losing a chunk of your brain would really help that much with matters. I mean, again, I'm not exactly sure how far medical technologies have advanced in 2145, but still, I don't think he's going to recover from that. But in any case, we can open the door, and basically you have to avoid the laser, otherwise it's an instant kill. Saving? Well, nothing can go wrong here. In fact, a lot of this, the EPD laser actually kind of reminds me of Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast. Quite funny, since it also had a first-person perspective, even though it was more of a third-person shooter. But that being said, we are going to reach the other side. Another point I can bring up is that I was recently trolling across the Doom wiki, or at least for the Doom 3 portion, so I'd have a little bit more to say about the game other than, you know, just rehashing the statements that I already made. You know, just to avoid the commentary becoming stale, which I fear would probably be an issue. But yeah, I found some of the most bullshit criticisms, like, I mean, maybe it was just paraphrasing the reviews that came out at the time, but honestly, some of them to me were just fucking bullshit. Like, I mean, like, a lot of people were criticizing the monster ambushes, which, okay, granted, you know, in certain scenarios, like, you know, if they have a weapon laid out in plain sight, you know, I can see where people come from with that, but at the same time, you know, there are scares like, you know, the one in Alpha Labs Sector 4, as well as the earlier one with the, you know, red screen, and also the other one with, you know, Doom Guy looking into a mirror and then seeing his, you know, evil reflection, quote-unquote. You know, those are the scares that work effectively, not the fucking monster ambushes, you fucking morons. Jesus Christ. There is another point that I'll get into later, probably right after this audio log that's coming up next. And trust me, I will have some shit to say about that, believe you me. Anyway, let's take a listen.
Audio log for Jack Smith, Benefits Analyst in HR 1024-2145. I just went through another batch of accident reports from the science team. We've had 5 more people hurt this week while working with the equipment. The most serious incident was one John Hughes, whose hand was caught in one of the plastic extrusion systems. He was performing maintenance on it and states that he unplugged it and had the safety key in his pocket. It managed to activate without an apparent power source and shredded his arm up to the elbow before someone got him out. It's been reported that the machine is still running and we can't shut it down. The cost on that incident alone is enough to raise the red flag, but this is just one in a pile. We're going to overrun our budget on benefits payout this quarter. And while it's not my department, I have to assume that the new equipment budget is going to be blown out as well, because according to these reports, the equipment's breaking down on a daily basis. Please mark this for review in corporate. End of log.
Anyway, back to the criticism that I was talking about. Yeah, there was a criticism on somewhat stale storytelling techniques forcing players to read or listen to messages, hiding access codes within them. And it's pretty much just criticizing the shortage of cutscenes, which, you know, granted, I think a lot of people probably wouldn't have, well, at least I myself wouldn't have minded, you know, a little bit more of a narrative-heavy Doom game, but, you know, honestly, I think Doom 3 has the right balance, I mean, for what little cutscenes that it actually has. But honestly, the criticism of, you know, hiding codes and, you know, forcing people to read them because, you know, they have codes hidden in them, that's not entirely true, because, you know, you have to read the messages to get the full experience. It's, like, I mean, it's kind of like Metroid Prime in the sense that, you know, you read the messages, but at the same time... Oh, I should probably shut up for a second. Because there's something coming up. Creature is known as a maggot. I know it doesn't really look like it, but yeah, take my word for it, these are maggots. And not Slipknot fans either. Or they might be. Again, the very heavy emphasis on hell and Satanism and shit. But anyway, as I was stating earlier, with the messages, honestly, I feel that it enriches the game because, again, like Metroid Prime, you get some backstory, you know, you have, you know, codes and shit would actually apply to the game. And not only that, but you can also see, you know, so much of how the UIC facility functions, you know, pretty much on a daily level. And also with how, you know, the demon infestation was taking place over the course of, you know, however long it's been there. It's something that I feel that a lot of people, you know, at least that kind of criticism is complete bullshit in terms of, you know, story and immersion is concerned. I mean... Oh, God, that fucking pisses me off. I mean, granted, I'm the kind of person who does prefer Doom as, like, more of an action-style, run-and-gun style of game, like, you know, many a fan. But to be perfectly honest, you can't just criticize the immersion here simply because, you know, oh, this isn't like Doom 2. Which is honestly why I don't consider Doom 3 to be the black sheep of the series, but rather the most interesting one. But then again, I'm usually alone with a lot of my thoughts on things. However, we must move on, and I have run out of commentary. I suppose most of my rant about the message thing was a little bit more. But we are reaching the end of the... well, the first segment of the video, I believe. Actually, you know what? I could talk about some other bullshit claims. I had already talked about the scripted sequences with the monster ambushes. But honestly, going back to that subject just for a little bit, I feel that the fact that, you know, there are many sequences where monsters can ambush you makes it a little bit more terrifying, because again, these demons can literally appear anywhere you want, you know, as opposed to plot contrivance, you know, with the zombies in Resident Evil or The Walking Dead or whatever. You know, it makes it a little more terrifying, but at the same time, it also makes sense, considering, you know, demons, spiritual powers, and all that kind of stuff. Ooh. Didn't see that. And even then, like, not all of them just transport in, or, like, just, you know, make a loud announcement noise like, Rah! I know that was a horrible impersonation, but still. You know, they don't all just, you know, have a telltale sign, be scared now. Like, I mean, some of them can honestly just sneak up on you like that. Oh my god. See? Moments like this. Again, they're not out and out, boo, be scared. But it's just a little something that makes you go, what the fuck is going on here? And that's the kind of horror that I like. It creates a mystery and it provides intrigue. You know, it kind of like Silent Hill 3 in a way, it invites the player to explore it. Oh, and I'm gonna admit, I never actually found that the first time, but anyway. But again, you know, moments like that create so much, because it invites, you know, humanity's natural curiosity towards strange goings-on and forces them to investigate. I mean, like, I know it's a cliche in a lot of horror movies and everything to go, oh, well, if I was in this situation, I wouldn't have done that. But you know what? Curiosity can get the better of a lot of people. And that's where I feel that, you know, when people criticize cliches, again, it's easy to do that because you're playing armchair survivor, so to speak. Like, I mean, if you're really in that situation, I'm pretty sure fear probably would have overtaken your mind, and you too would probably have ended up exploring into something which obviously would have gotten you killed. But then again, that's just my little rant about the people who claim to work only on logic and will make the most sane decisions regardless of emotion. Because, you know, it's not as if humans have that or anything. Fucking idiots. Man, this episode is just ranty as fuck. You wanna know what I think we need? We need a cameo from Jim Ward.
Oh, you startled me. Man, am I ever glad to see you. I thought it was all alone. It's been freaking spooky lately. The Hydrocon's blown a few circuits and is unstable. Be careful with that gun. A stray bullet into the glass shields could blow the whole area. I'm gonna try and get this thing stabilized. I'll head to the science office when I have this under control.
Thank you, Captain Quark. Yeah, it's weird, because I actually never realized that that was Jim Ward until now, but honestly, there was a very distinct tone in his voice that I actually recognized. Again, not in the same sense that it actually was, you know, the Captain Quark voice, because that's usually just hammy and, well, a little bit macho. But honestly, more in... Oh, no, wait, it's not a message. Silly me. But yeah, it's not in the sense that I actually recognized it, it's more in the sense that a similar vocal tone, kind of like Steve Bloom in a way. But then again, that's just voice acting. Or at least something you pick up on if you've seen them play multiple characters, or at least a certain archetype. Like, once again, Steve Bloom is the, you know, the gruff Wolverine, Zabu Mochi kind of voice. And this is why the shotgun is probably one of my favorite weapons in the game. And also why it is really annoying when you come across other people, or at least more specifically, the soldiers who have guns and stuff. Oh, by the way, be sure to aim away at the Hydrocon, because it will explode, as Jim Ward had informed us earlier. Jeez, and trust me, this is kinda scary. Oh god. Yeah, the maggots are no joke. They can really do some serious damage under you if you're not careful. Do not fire upon those. In fact, stop looking at them. I get really paranoid whenever I'm in this room, because, and first time playing Doom 3, I actually ended up firing at him, and a stray bullet ended up hitting the Hydrocon and it exploded. Thank God there was a health station right there, otherwise I would have been completely fucked. Anyways, onwards to new adventure. Actually, I believe there's actually a small... I'm either thinking of that or another jump scene. Fuck, I'm getting my terms mixed up. I'm either thinking of that or another scene where you press that and... yeah, something a little bit scary happens. Yeah, but in terms of anything else, saving, that usually implies, you know, I think saving, or at the very least, you know, auto-saving kind of, yeah, if you want to talk about immersion ruining stuff, talk about fucking saving, man. Is it this room or is it another one that I'm thinking of? No, wait, that comes later. But yeah, you want to talk about immersion ruining things, auto-saving. And it's kind of why I like the approach that it took in, you know, the Silent Hill Resident Evil series, and where, you know, you had typewriters or notepads or red squares in Silent Hill 2's case. You know, it was those kind of things where you had to manually save, which didn't break the immersion, because 9 times out of 10 in modern gaming, when I know that something's about to happen whenever the autosave screen comes up. Which is why I think in some horror games they should probably just, well, you know, kind of do away with autosaving and bring back either, not necessarily limited saves, because, you know, that can be kind of, would nauseating? No, it wouldn't be nauseating, but it would be, I don't know what the right word is, but the closest thing I can come to it is paranoia. Paranoid, that's it! Paranoid! Oh. Something's going on. Okay. You see? It's little moments, as I said earlier. That guy floating there makes you wonder what's going on and what's going to happen. I mean, granted, I think it was a little bit flimsily done, and is probably just a limitation of the time. Well, again, 2004, so 10 years ago. Well, actually, over 10 years ago now. 12, actually, fuck. Ouch, man, like, I remember that time. Ah, shit, I forgot what I was talking about before. Quite forgetful of this commentary. I don't know why, but Doom, like, whenever like, even watching this, I still feel overly excited. I don't know, maybe it's because this is probably one of my favorite games of all time, but I just love this feeling. Oh, the bathroom, it's clearly seen better days, and is somehow more sanitary than most public bathrooms. Oh god. You know, that's another thing I can bring up. They really do not maintain public restroom facilities. Again, off topic as fuck, but, you know, honestly, you know what, the most dingiest fucking restroom I've ever been in, actually, I'll explain later, after this.
Hello, is this reaching anyone? I'm broadcasting on a very low frequency. If you can hear me, I'm not far. Please help me. I've locked myself in storage room C4. Please, if anyone can hear me, please help me.
Yeah, anyway, I'll get to him a little bit later, but yeah. Dingiest public restroom I've ever been in. It was this one, like, around my local area. There are these netball courts with this toilet facility, like, and also, I think it doubles as a football field as well. Yeah, I went inside there to take a piss, and god damn, that place was fucking disgusting, man. There was shit running down the walls. There was a fucking pizza in the urinal. Like, who the fuck eats pizza and then just chucks it down there, man? That's fucked up. Again, you know, it had the usual graffiti and all that kind of stuff, like, you know, terrible Thomas strikes again. But I mean, fuck, man, that was just fucking grody as shit, man. I felt like, honestly, it was to the point where I felt like gagging, to be honest. Such a lamentable loss of life. Pizza. This is weird. I shouldn't really talk about real life stuff that much, because again, it's not what you're here for. You're here for Doom. Hey, buddy. Having a nice little dinner there? How do you like it? Well done. Oh, that didn't work. Well, looks like we blew this out of proportion. You know, honestly, I would have sworn that he would have gotten up again. And then again, maybe I'm just thinking of the 2002 Doom 3 Alpha trailer. Let's have a look at the cameras. It's like Five Nights at Freddy's. It's me. Hello, everybody. It's Doom Guy. Why am I making him sound like Jason Griffith? I think only one of these cameras is really important in the grand scheme of things. Yep. And of course, it's usually the last one that's important. Oh, maybe it isn't. Maybe I was mistaken, actually. No, wait, I think what usually happens towards the end of it is that it ends up just fuzzing it. Yeah, like that. Anyway, it's log time again, so I will shut up.
Audio report regarding the disrespectful treatment of new research staff. September 14th, 2145. As you know, I have gone to considerable effort to recruit my staff researchers for Alpha Labs. Finding team members with the qualifications, let alone the willingness to come to Mars, has not been a trivial task. You know this already. But it is necessary that I emphasize why their complaints must be taken seriously. We won't be able to keep our people who will recruit new researchers if the harassment continues. No, harassment is exactly the right word. I'm routinely getting reports of UAC security asking inappropriate questions and submitting my staff to unnecessary background checks. I must insist that we be allowed to keep our personal lives private and be left to complete our assignments without further delays. If there is some kind of security threat, I suggest that UAC security look more deeply into their own staff. This is Andrew Chin.
By the way, if you actually take the time to read Andrew Chin's messages, you find out that he's a complete fucking nerd with, like, well, this in-game universe version of, like, fucking Dungeons and Dragons and shit. But honestly, as I said earlier with the messages, you know, just basic things like, quote-unquote, possible racism? Question mark? You know, world building. I don't know why people criticize that. But God forbid we have depth in our video games, regardless of whether or not it's Doom. I don't know. Maybe I'm just, I don't know, maybe I'm just being too facetious, but honestly, even games like Doom, which are all about, like, you know, having a rush of energy and all that kind of stuff, while, you know, blasting metal music and shooting demons, I feel like even Doom should at least have a little bit of depth. But in any case...
Since the dawn of the space age, Union Aerospace has been at the
oh god, I hate that knocking really reminds me of Silent Hill in some aspects.
pushing those developments to even more daring extremes.
Which kind of makes me wish Doom 3 went for a you kind of went one more, you know, excuse me. It kind of makes me wish that Doom 3 went one step beyond in terms of, you know, implementing more horror elements into the series. Like, again, I know a lot of people didn't like the inclusion of horror in this, but I felt like it would have done the series some good. Well, at least in terms of an alternative take on the franchise. And yeah, there's Bravo Team. Don't worry, Bravo Team, we'll rendezvous, or whatever. And what the television is basically explaining right now is basically the fuel cells. Well, that's the end of that chapter. Well, that video disc pretty much just explains everything. We have more PDAs to read, but we are ambushed. But anyway, as I was stating earlier... Actually, you know what? No, I'll save it for after the thing... with the thing and the lady!
Marine, Bravo team reports they've located your position but are unable to move to your current location. Head through engineering and try to link up with them in Sector 3.
But anyway, that's what I was saying before. I think Doom 3 should have gone one step beyond in terms of incorporating more horror elements into the series, because... if by doing that, like, I mean, I think the ways that you could think could probably have done it is, you know, by limiting ammo and just having generally more ambient settings, because again, especially in this day and age where the first-person horror genre is just so big, I feel like they could do a lot better than just the bloody walking simulators that they have, you know, with fucking PT and, you know, quote-unquote totally real, well, like, we're being very original guys, Resident Evil 7. You know, incorporate weapons, incorporate more of an atmosphere. Although that being said, Resident Evil 7 is supposedly incorporating weapons, so I'm gonna hold my tongue on that and hope for the best with RE7, even though right now my thoughts are very, very cynical. But, you know, that being said, limited ammo, more tense environments. Yeah, well, not necessarily tense, but I'd say Doom 3 handled the environments pretty damn well. But I'd say just include less monster ambushes and let the ambience of the place, you know, just with small knocks and ambient noises, you know, to really give the player a sense of paranoia, like, oh, is this demon going to appear behind me, is it going to just suddenly pop up out of my face? Again, it's the tension that creates the fear, not the jump scare itself. Build up. I mean, I think I pretty much explained this in my Silent Hill review, so I don't think there's really much more that needs to be said here. Oh god, my knee's fucking aching as shit. You'll probably pick up some of the noise from the fabric of my tracksuit pants, but shit. I'm sitting cross-legged right now and it's kind of uncomfortable. Sorry I had to hear that. Again, I'm not in a very compromising position, but, you know, I've been sitting here for the past 25 minutes,
Don't shoot.
so that's understandable.
I can help you. The lights are all out. I'll lead you through here if you can get me off this base.
No problem, Mr. Scientist Guy. You know, I've got a good feeling about this. You know, we finally have somebody else, he's a scientist, he probably knows the facility like the back of his hand, and he's gonna lead us out of here. So, best case scenario, I think we're probably gonna have to help this guy throughout the entire facility, because again, there is a history of that happening in Doom 3. For example, in the Resurrection of Evil, you actually, there was one of the female scientists on the UAC facility, named Elizabeth McNeil. You know, and she's pretty much with you throughout the entire game via the comlink, similar to Sergeant Kelly. And there's also another scientist similar to this guy in the Lost Mission. So, I have a good feeling. I think he's going to survive with us. Don't worry, Scientist Guy. I have a machine gun, which actually, when I really think of it, is probably one of the least useful weapons in the game. Although, its usefulness comes in the fact that it has a lot of ammo and is, well, one of the more disposable weapons, really. Again, it packs a little... well, actually no, the pistol does pack a little bit more punch than it, so I suppose its advantage is that it's plentiful, but honestly, you're just taking little pot shots if nothing else. In fact, honestly, I'd say, if anything, if you know how to use it right, that one of the best weapons in the game is, well, a shotgun. But again, certain enemies, certain uses, so you gotta be really... well, not necessarily trained, but you just need to know how to use it right. Kinda like, Devil May Cry, in many ways, and I mean the original Devil May Cry, not the reboot. In the sense that, you know, it kinda requires a little... it kinda requires a few workarounds in order to get things, moving. Then again, to some people that could be to the game's detriment, but for me, it's pretty cool. In fact, I could say the other, game that does that similarly is Assassin's Creed with the hidden blade counters. And I mean Assassin's Creed 1, because in Assassin's Creed 2, that shit was made piss easy. Oh, fucking hell. Jesus. Yeah, if this guy dies, you pretty much have to navigate this entire facility yourself. Granted, you don't get a game over, but... okay, we've made it. We're gonna live, Scientist Guy. Think of it. Doom Guy and Scientist Guy. The greatest team up in the history of... no! Scientist Guy, I shall avenge you! Oh, that's it. This is for Scientist Guy. Take this, imp. Rest in peace, Scientist Guy. This was the greatest team-up that should have happened. He was just a soldier. In a war he... fought in, technically. I don't know. I had a good feeling, damn it. And this game just spat in my face and wasted him. But whatever, that's not important. Let's get some ammunition and health, possibly. That was the wrong code. Let's see what the code is. Yeah. Oh god, we actually have to check the logs. Oh god, this is the worst game ever. 0 out of 10. Fuck it. Hate it. God, what a... you know what? I really need to find out the fucking review that said that, because that was the shittiest fucking justification for having to read the logs. I mean... god, you mean... oh god, you mean I actually have to play the game? No. That's just the worst game ever. I should play this with minimal effort. So this is the worst game ever. Fuck it. I hate it. God, it was probably fucking IGN or some fucking shit like that, you know? God, that fucking pisses me off. Okay, we are saving off the game. Probably nothing bad happening here. I believe we're also introduced to a new enemy type here. Yeah, case in point. I believe these are called the Trites, I think, you know, in reference to trilobites, I believe. Or at least, I believe they are. But again, they're the spider enemies of the game, and, excuse me. Sandwich coming back up. Yeah, these are the spider enemies of the game, and, yeah, let's say they're a reference to what's to come. Oh, by the way, don't let these guys swarm you, because they can do some serious damage. Although, they aren't quite as bad as the cherub enemies that you'll be facing later on, but I'll point them out, and man... I mean, I think unlike the cherubs, these spiders aren't quite as creepy, unless of course you have arachnophobia, but then again... I suppose that's more left up to the personal interpretation. Oh well, time to fry some spiders. We certainly blew that out of proportion. I already used that pun. Damn it. But yeah, that's actually another pretty decent strategy to use, is that you hide in the corner of the room and then just, you know, start shooting from there. Because that way you won't get surrounded as easily. But in any case, I'm Skully, keep it new metal, and next time on the Doom 3 commentary, we will be entering Sector 2. Actually, no, this is Sector 2, you fucking idiot. We'll be entering Sector 3 of the Alpha Labs. Catch you on the flip side. Oh yeah.